We're live. Some people said we couldn't do it, but here we are live. Yes, for another SpaceX launch. Actually, I don't know if anybody ever said that, but we'll just say it. Yes, it is lucky that we're here because we are having some upper level wind issues, as you guys know about by now, by meow. But hopefully SpaceX can calm the upper level wind storm. I'm glad you guys liked that intro. Much appreciated. Took a lot of work. Okay, before we get started, we got to do our muster. Muster up, roll call. Where's everybody from? What you munching on or drinking? I am drinking out of my eccentric mug, and it is a nice little concoction of hydrogen and oxygen. Very quenching. Oh, wow. There's a lot of you today. I guess the YouTube algorithm is back to working. I had to delete my SpaceX live launch playlist. I think that's what did it. I heard that could cause issues. I think we're back. Okay, here we go. SoCal gang. Mars, you're not from Mars, you liar. Maybe you are, I don't know. I don't know your history. Netherlands. GG, thanks for the love, GG. He did a super chat earlier. Love your content, mate. Howdy from Australia. Well then, good day, mate. Let's put another shrimp on the barbie. Name that movie. That's an easy one. Jupiter. All right, you guys are ridiculous. Norway, Scotland, Colorado, SpaceX alumni. Well, thank you for your service, bro. South Africa, scrolling up, Denmark, Jacksonville, Florida, Deer Park, Texas, Coffee in Cary, North Carolina, Oregon, Oklahoma, and some Dr. Pepper, some DP. You're speaking my language, man. Love me some Dr. Pepper. Norway's also drinking water. They're as boring as I am. Texas, Virginia, Saudi Arabia, France, Portugal, Wales, and so on, and Canada. Welcome, Canada. Thank you guys for tuning in with me. I know Timmy's not streaming today. I miss him. All right. But for those of you that decided to stop by and say hello, Kevin, well, hello there. Hoping that this launch window holds. We're at the end of the launch window at 4:10. It was supposed to happen at 3:55, so right about meow. But man, those winds, gotta tame those winds, SpaceX. What's up with you? And so we're keeping an eye on Twitter to make sure everything is A-OK. O-A-K. And so far, it's looking like we're doing all right. They're starting to see venting, so that's a good sign. I hope they're not deventing the fuel, but they're venting. This is what you got to do. Go to spacex.com/launches, not lunches. Lunches are delicious. Launches are awesome. And you go to watch, and it pops up this YouTube video of SpaceX, which is now live. Sweet. We'll get back to that here in a second. They got their little screensaver going on. You scroll down on SpaceX.com and you get the little rundown. You can find this in the description of this video as well. All right. Anything notable? We'll talk a little bit more about the rocket here in a second. Scroll down and get a little nice diagram. It's sweet. Keep going. You get the little itinerary of the launch. At T-0, we have liftoff. And then about 8 minutes afterward, we'll have the first stage landing on the drone ship. Just read the instructions. That's right. Another just read the instructions landing. Sweet. Now this mission's going to last an hour and a half after T-0. That's long. Unky Kev is not going to stay live this whole time. So I will peace out after the drone ship landing. Okay. All right, let's get rid of this. Let's pull up big screen on this and back to me. Not dog cam, Kevin cam. So Gil Greenberg, happy birthday, sir. Thank you. I didn't know it was my derp day, but I'll take it. It's my derp day now. It's actually the lawyer wife's derp day in a couple weeks, and it was Elon's derp day the other day. So happy derp day, Elon. 69 days after 420. What a lucky guy. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. So, man, I wish they would have kept their little thumbnail image up. We could have seen the rocket. Anyway, this is a 100% new rocket. All right. The first stage booster is completely new because, it's the military. They don't like buying used. Okay. Like Kevin buys his cars. They're also new fairings that they're using. These are not reused fairings. And obviously the second stage is also new. They're starting. How exciting. And then we'll see here once they start the stream, you'll see a little gray band around the second stage. And I've researched and I found out that was to help keep the propellant heated on its long coast phase because it's so long and they don't want that liquid oxygen or methane. No, it's not methane. It's RP1 to turn into solid frozen stuff.
Tuesday, June 30th, and on your screen is a live view of the Falcon 9 awaiting its 4:10 Eastern Standard Time launch from Cape Canaveral Air Force Station in Florida. My name is Shiva Bharadwaj, and I'm a space operations engineer here at SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne, California.
We've seen him
before. Welcome
before.
to our webcast coverage for the GPS-3 Space Vehicle number 3 launch for the United States Space Force. Now, the Global Positioning System, or GPS payload, is one that you're probably familiar with. GPS satellites provide a diverse range of positioning and timing services for both civil and military purposes. Now, the United States has been launching GPS satellites for the last 42 years, and today marks the 75th launch. This launch is also particularly special because it honors the memory of Colonel Thomas Falzarano, commander of the 21st Space Wing, Peterson Air Force Base in Colorado. The Space Force has dedicated this mission to his memory, and we will hear directly from General Raymond and others who knew and worked with him just before we enter into the first coast phase later on in the broadcast. Now, let's take a closer look at the vehicle that will launch the GPS-3 satellite and help us honor the memory of Colonel Thomas Falzarano.
I learned a shortcut. I can just hit the M button and it mutes. I learn something new every day about Sam McIntosh. Shout out to my beautiful wife, Lauren, and son, Joshua. Lauren and Joshua, hello. Thank you for tuning in and watching with your dad, the old man, Pops. Ted Johnson? Joe Johnson. You are awesome. Rocket emoji. No, you are awesome. What a blast. There. You see that gray band? That was the one I was talking about. Okay, it's supposed to absorb the sun's rays and keep that propellant a little bit warmer. And there's just read the instructions out in the middle of the ocean. The Atlantic, not the Pacific. What are they talking about?
For both the primary mission and a chance at recovery today on that first stage. Now, above the first stage is the second stage.
The clouds look nice and radiant. They don't look too, what's the word? I was going to say they don't look too turmoil, but that's not the right word. I'm not using it in the right way. They don't look too chaotic. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Tuba Man is on Discord because he is a patron. He's from Virginia. Well, hello, Tuba Man from Virginia. Sluggo3 Slug. Keep it up. You pump them weights, Peach, or whatever you are. Thank you. Appreciate it. Love you. So, 100% new rocket. But here's the thing. This is the first military mission where they're going to allow SpaceX to land the first stage booster. They're not going to make them expend it completely. So maybe it's kind of a hint that in the not too far future, the military, like NASA, will start using reused rockets. How exciting. Now the M button isn't working. I must have clicked off the stupid video. Oh, there's Miss Tree and Mischief.
Aren't planning a catch attempt today, and instead will scoop these out of the water later on this evening. Now, finally, next to the rocket is that large truss structure that we refer to as...
Yeah, all right, we know what that is, the strong pack. Mystery and Mischief won't be if you read the description, won't be attempting to catch the fairings today. All right, they are just going to fish them out of the water like a bunch of crab fishermen. I don't know. Hey, look who it is. John Instructor's here. Hey, John. I don't know if they're just giving up for now on the whole, recovery by parachute thing or whatever. The catching? I'm not sure.
We went vertical on the pad at roughly 10 a.m. local time yesterday. The chief engineer held his technical poll at T-1 hours, and the launch director held a propellant load and launch go, no-go poll at T-38 minutes. The vehicle is healthy. We are currently working, no issues. Now, if we do have to call a hold on today's launch, we have a backup opportunity tomorrow at 3:51 Eastern Time in the afternoon. That's about 4 minutes earlier than today's opening of the window. Now, right now, we're targeting the end of the window just after 16:10 Eastern Time for liftoff. Now, after the go-no-go polls, Falcon 9 has been loading propellants. It began at T-minus.
All right, they're still on track for an end-of-the-window launch. By the way, thank you, mods, for modding today. Appreciate you. And YouTube members and patrons who are watching, thank you so much. Let's see how many of you are checking in today. I see Ryan Rittard's here. Hello, Ryan. Yeah, a lot of you guys are watching this at work. I like your strategy. I like your style. Christopher Baker's here, of course, my man. Kerry Turner, he's got his wings. Look at that, he's a captain now. Hey, Captain Crunch. Not working for me, Kevin. Justin DeLong's here. Hi there, Kevin. Watching while I wait for my son to take his driver's test. Ooh, big day for somebody. Oh, I remember that day. Perfectly clear. I was so mad because I went into the DMV on my 16th birthday to get my license, and they told me I had to come back tomorrow. I was like, what the heck, man? This birthday sucks. Nick Waldo. Nothing better than a launch to get us through the last hour of work. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And of course, Gooch is here. Gucci Pilot, sup, Unky Kev. I saw you trying to use those Nightbot commands. I haven't yet programmed any. I'm sure you figured that out. We'll get around to it, though, I promise.
Small amount of the super chilled liquid oxygen to flow past the turbopump inlets. That cools them down to avoid thermal shocks when we light the Merlin engines at T-minus 2 seconds.
What a beautiful picture.
Finally, you can see to the left of the rocket is the transport erector, or what we also call the strongback. That will retract away from the rocket about 2 degrees at T-minus 4 minutes. That gives the necessary clearance for Falcon 9 to begin the liftoff sequence. Now, on top of Falcon 9, we have the spacecraft. The spacecraft team has transitioned the GPS satellite to internal battery power. That happened at T-minus 15 minutes. They're working no issues, and there are no further actions required of the satellite before launch.
Yes, you can see the little Space Force logo there on the fairing. It's pretty sweet. Space Force did take over this little cluster of GPS satellites from the Air Force, and they threw out a little dig on Twitter a few minutes ago. They said, we got this, Air Force. We can take it from here, because someone was tagging Air Force in this tweet of the mission. I thought it was pretty cool. I like it when military branches go at each other. It's cutthroat out there. Lanster, watching from work with I thought that said human sandwich. I was like, that's disgusting. No, ham sandwich. Yum. I've seen this guy before, by the way. I can't remember his name, but I like his haircut. It's pretty sweet. I want it.
Now we'll hear from Lieutenant Colonel Margaret Sullivan, material leader of the GPS-3 space vehicles, and Tanya Ladwig, acting vice president of navigation systems at Lockheed Martin, to learn more about today's satellite.
Cool.
We use GPS every day.
Today, everyone has GPS technology in their pocket.
All right, I need to mute that sound, or I'm going to get an email from Google saying, how dare you use someone else's sounds. But if you want to learn more about the payload from the Space Force or Lockheed Martin who built it, go ahead and just mute me and watch this show. Link in the description. Brian Young. Hey, Daddy Kevin. Just wanted to say love Space Eccentric and love what I got to wake up to, such a sexy man watching a sexy rocket. Well, you must be watching someone else, and it's not me or Tim Dodd, because he's not here either. All right. I really appreciate the support, Brian. I like your name, Brian. It's not spelled with an I. It's spelled with a Y. I like it. It's very rebellious. Yeah, so like I said earlier, I'm not going to be streaming the entire show today. I'm not staying on for 2 hours plus, all right, because they are going to release this payload an hour and a half after T-minus 0. That's a long coast phase, and no thank you. So make sure you guys, if you plan on sticking around and watching the entire mission, you at least bookmark that link in the description to SpaceX's stream of this launch. Okay. Dang it, M-Key.
Today's GPS-3 Space Vehicle 3 mission is dedicated by the Space Force to the memory of Colonel Thomas Falcerano, and we will hear directly from General Raymond and others who knew and worked with him just before we enter our first coast phase later on in the broadcast. Now we're currently just inside 4 minutes from liftoff. We did get the good news just a moment ago that the latest weather balloon is go for launch. So we're going to continue to count down. We've begun retracting the transporter erector strongback away from the Falcon 9. You can see it on your screen. Moves back a couple of degrees to get us ready for liftoff. Now the Falcon 9 is now moving into the final stages of the countdown. The vehicle remains in good health. Fuel loading is complete on both the first and second stages. Liquid oxygen loading will wrap up shortly on the first stage and will complete at T-minus 2 minutes on the second stage. At 1 minute before liftoff, you'll hear...
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm very excited. In the words of Borat, very exciting. I have two students, actually, former students of mine. They're in high school now, and they are at Coco watching this launch. This is their first launch, so if they're watching, congratulations. My students get to watch a launch before I do. That's not fair. All right. Joshua Thompson, thank you for the super chat, man. Ooh, I love that picture. It's a pretty sweet little profile picture you got there. Thank you so much for that love and appreciation. Dollar tip. Thank you. Man, it's beautiful out.
First stage load complete.
I heard Florida's been getting some pretty warm weather lately.
Has just called out that the first stage LOX load is complete. We're now loading just liquid oxygen on the second stage.
It's been warm here in Ohio as well.
Half a minute, LOX loading should complete on stage 2.
I'm more of a chill guy. I like to be a little cold. Like 66 degrees is like perfect. I know that's not cold, but it's been really hot lately. I've been boiling in the sun. It's not cool, literally. Time travelers here from another time. Let's go SpaceX. 5 of those euros for your Cybertruck. Thank you so much.
T-minus 2 minutes.
I would love a Cybertruck so much. Oh, you have no idea.
That announcement tells us that that chillin' that we began at T-minus 7 minutes has lasted.
And here's the thing. I would be one of those truck owners, especially with Cybertruck, that wouldn't want the car to ever get dirty. So I would never transport anything or load up the bed of the truck. Everyone knows someone like that has that one person that has the nice big truck that you need to like use him or his truck or borrow it to move something, and they're like, no, I don't want to get it dirty. That would be me with a Cybertruck for sure. Oh, and by the way, happy early 4th of July to my fellow Americans. Check out the, let me switch over here. Check out the American Ingenuity, I got a high shrug, no neck, American Ingenuity swag. I guess it's not swag. We all can't have it. Here you go. Back to the show. We're at T-minus 1 minute. It's going to happen, guys. I'm feeling good, feeling great. Maurice Enzerlo, nailed it. Heart, thanks. Thank you. You're so kind. Love you forever and a day. And Aaron Johnson's piling on top. I can't keep up. What's up, Vanilla Face? Me and my homies be watching the launch. Yes, I love the Borat quote. This guy is speaking my language. What's going on, Vanilla Face? Love it. You guys are great.
So at T-minus 30 seconds coming up, all systems are go for launch of Falcon 9 with GPS-3 Space Vehicle number 3.
Let's turn it up slightly. There we go.
T-minus 15 seconds.
It's going.
10,
can't stop it now.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition.
Get.
Liftoff. Go Falcon, go GPS.
There she goes. She did it. Wow, we don't have to wait any longer. Yes. Missed that sight. I love the cloudy backdrop too.
T-plus 40 seconds, we've heard callouts, and now we're entering the throttle bucket. We're powering down the Merlin engines to relieve the acceleration as we get ready for the period of maximum dynamic pressure.
Max Q.
We're
For those
in the
of you,
throttle bucket. Now we're beginning to power back up.
for those of you that
We hear
don't
the call
watch
out
these too
exiting
often,
throttle bucket. The 9 Merlin 1D engine's
Mach
going
1.
back to full power, and we
I
are
don't
now
want to cut John
supersonic.
off. I don't like cutting John off because John is the man. When the rocket goes through max Q, that's the max pressure that the rocket goes through as the atmosphere starts to thin out, but the speed of the rocket also starts to accelerate. So a lot of pressure hitting that nose cone.
Max
and
Q.
they don't want to overdo the
Guidance
power.
engineer calls out max Q, the period of maximum dynamic pressure, or Q, on the vehicle. From this point forward, although we go faster and faster, the thinner atmosphere will put less loads on the airframe of the rocket.
What he said.
Coming up next is chill-in of the upper stage engine. We've got a good trajectory.
And back engine chill started.
We've begun the chill-in of the upper stage engine. Power on the Merlin 1D engines looks good. Avionics reports everything is nominal.
But the plume spreads out as the atmosphere thins. It's science. It's magic.
We're T plus 2
Dark
minutes
magic.
into flight. Next major activity in half a minute, shutdown of the 9 Merlin engines, separate the first and second stage, and ignite the second stage engine to carry GPS and the second stage into the first of 2 orbits today. This one will be the initial parking orbit. Falcon 9 preparing for MECO.
Paul the Lionheart's in here. Welcome, Paul the Lionheart. Good to see you again, brother.
And MECO.
Here it goes.
Stage separation confirmed.
And there it goes. Light. There we go. Now that's
And
normal
we've
right there.
confirmed
That was
ignition
normal.
of the second stage
Don't freak
engine
out.
after a good stage 1, stage 2 SEP. You could see briefly the Falcon 9 first stage in the background.
Both vehicles are following nominal trajectories.
Call out that both vehicles are following the planned trajectory. First stage continuing to coast to apogee, where it'll then slowly turn around and descend back to the drone ship for landing in the Atlantic Ocean. The second stage engine beginning the long burn to get it into the parking orbit.
Acquisition of signal, Maryland.
Coming up, fairing deploy. Waiting to see the camera switch forward.
There
Fairing
she
separation
is.
confirmed.
Visually confirmed.
And we've got fairing separation. The 2 halves of the Falcon 9 fairing separating, the pneumatic system unlatching the locks that hold it together, and then the pneumatic pushers separating the 2 halves. As the fairing falls away from the vehicle, we can see on the left side of the screen the grid fins, the large titanium castings that are mounted to the first stage have deployed. They'll be used later as we come back into the atmosphere for precision guidance of the first stage to land on the drone ship. On the right-hand side, we see the second stage
Acquisition
engine
signal
continuing
Bermuda.
to burn. It's at full power. Everything's looking good with the trajectory. So at just past T plus 4 minutes into flight, everything is go on the flight of Falcon 9 with GPS-3, space vehicle number 3.
And just to give you a sense of scale, these titanium grid fins John was talking about, these are about the size of a smart car. So this is no small rocket that they're about
Plus
to
4
land.
minutes and 25 seconds into flight. We're currently in the first of 2 planned Merlin vacuum engine burns. Currently looking at the data, the second stage engine burn is nominal. On your left-hand screen, you can see the first stage as it's performing that reorientation that John and I talked about. The grid fins are deployed, and you're seeing some thruster plumes there from the attitude control system that are getting it ready so that the 9 Merlin 1D engines are pointed towards the atmosphere as it re-enters into Earth's atmosphere. Beautiful views of the planet beneath both the first stage and the second stage. Second stage is continuing into its burn. We're expecting this burn
Both
to
vehicles
last
continue to
about
follow nominal
5
trajectories.
minutes and 15 seconds. And entry burn will actually begin on the first stage in just about a minute from now. During the entry burn, we'll ignite 3 of the Merlin 1D engines on the first stage. That'll give us
Acquisition
a
of
chance
signal,
to
New
slow
Hampshire.
down the stage as it ends up re-entering the Earth's atmosphere and reduce the aerodynamic loads as it starts to bite into the thicker parts of the air around our planet.
Our bite. Lannister, wishing I was the guy
You can see
acquiring
the
signal
Merlin,
in Bermuda.
vacuum engine on your right-hand screen.
You wish you were the guy acquiring signal in Bermuda. That's a weird wish. I wish I was the satellite payload, personally.
To try to get the most performance out of the pressure coming out of the thrust chamber on the second stage engine. So coming up here in about 15 seconds is entry burn. Watch for that on your left-hand screen. That'll ignite 3 of the Merlin 1D engines, while second stage continues to burn towards that elliptical orbit with the GPS vehicle on board.
Those poofs of white.
Stage 1 FTS is saved.
That's the RCS thrusters to help orient and guide the spacecraft in. All right, cold nitrogen gas.
Stage 1 entry burn is started.
All right, that's normal. It's not on fire.
Ignition of the 3 Merlin 1D engines on the first stage. We're expecting this burn to last just about 30 seconds.
If you start to see some sparks, that's because it's heating up the atmosphere and plasma and all that good stuff. I don't know if we'll see sparks in this one, though. It's pretty cool to see them. I see no sparks. It wasn't going fast enough.
Stage 1 entry burn shutdown.
You see some bursts there. Successful shutdown of the engine and some attitude control bursts just to get that orientation right. Now, once we get into the thicker parts of the atmosphere where those grid fins have some aerodynamic control authority, they will do most of the guiding to take the first stage towards our drone ship, named Just Read the Instructions, which is about 350 nautical miles off the east coast of Florida. Coming up at about 50 seconds from now, we'll have 2 events happening about the same time. The first stage will ignite its single center Merlin 1D engine for landing burn. About the same time, the second stage will perform secondary engine
Stage
cutoff.
2 has entered terminal guidance.
Or SECO number 1. And while those 2 things occur, about 25 seconds later, the first stage will hopefully touch down on our drone ship. In between, they're deploying its landing legs. So watch for that on your left-hand screen.
Stage 2 FTS is saved.
Here we go. I don't know if they lost signal from the booster, but that typically happens. Hopefully they don't lose signal from the drone ship. That's what really counts.
Stage 1 landing burn is starting.
Here we go.
Ignition of that center Merlin engine on the first stage.
SECO 1.
Successful confirmation of shutdown of the Merlin vacuum engine. The
Full
guidance
screen.
engineer is evaluating the orbit of the second stage now.
Camera's shaking.
Nominal
That's a good
parking
sign.
orbit.
Nominal parking orbit.
Landing
That's
legs
exactly what we want to hear.
There it is.
Landing leg deployment looks like
Bullseye.
right down the center.
Ooh, come on, Pixels. Work with us here.
And
Looks
stage
like
1
a
is
successful
landed.
landing.
Recovery operators moving to
I see it
procedure
for
11 on
stage.
100 on
There we
Excellent.
go.
So that's, we first flew Falcon 9 10 years ago, actually this month. Since then, it's completed 88 missions, and now the most flown operational rocket in the United States. This mission completed its first landing, and hopefully we'll have many more to come.
Stage 2 expected.
The vehicle is now, we're actually going to enter into our first coast phase, now that we know that the second stage is in a successful parking orbit. That coast phase will last about 54 minutes and will end with our second stage relight at about T+1 hour and 3 minutes. We're going to come back shortly before that to cover the second engine start.
All right, cool. So transition to me. Yeah, for all the flat earthers joining in in the chat section, welcome to the show. You're dumb, but thanks for stopping by. And guess what? You can't talk back to me because I have the screen. Payphone Bone, Just Read the Instruction has a better camera connection than Of Course I Still Love You. Clearly, yeah, that camera is sweet, dude. Was that 4K? No, I think we're on 1080, aren't we? Yeah. That's a pretty sweet cam for sure. Look how you can tell that booster was new, man. It looked sparkly fresh. If you guys want to continue watching the SpaceX stream, just click on the first link in the description below, okay? Because I'm going to end up ending this stream here in a few minutes just to catch up on what everyone's saying really quick. Again, the payload and the second stage are going on a long coast phase for about an hour or so, and then they will deploy it. SpaceX will keep the stream running, but not I. Not I. Raj Shah, you're awesome. Thank you for tuning in with us today. Michael Ernest is here. Want to see the the Octograbber, the Octograbber come out. I know, right? They really do need to keep that drone ship camera rolling for longer so we can watch all the magic happen. Maybe SpaceX doesn't want to give away all their dark little secrets to Blue Origin or something. All right. Paul the Lionheart, thanks, Kev. Great as usual. You're great. I appreciate you guys tuning in and modding for me. Sorry, I got a little crazy there. Make sure you guys always read the rules or whatever you want to call it in the description. All right, just don't be a jerk. That's all that's required. Be like Bob Ross, a happy little tree. Okay. Justin DeLong, gotta go. Kev, love seeing successful launches. I love eating successful lunches, but I love watching successful launches. Thanks, guys. I'm gonna call it there. All right, gotta go hang out with the lawyer wife. I have legal obligations. Until the next one, Godspeed to you. I do my little finger thing, but my hands are full.